So now we should reflect on the motivation, why we have to practice Dharma, why we have to receive teaching. The answer is we are receiving teaching not only for this life, and also not only to gain higher rebirth in the next life, the purpose of all the Buddha's teaching is to gain temporal and ultimate result, which means liberation and liberation which is free from samsara, and then the ultimate result, which is the fully enlightenment state. So to achieve this goal, first we need to develop the right motivation. So first we need to reflect on the third renunciation, which means reflecting on the suffering of samsara and then having detachment towards samsara and wish to gain liberation from all samsara. So with this, first we should reflect on the third renunciation. So, based on total renunciation, then now we focus on loving kindness and compassion. Wish all the sentient beings to be able to gain happiness and the cause of happiness. Wish all the sentient beings to be free from sufferings and to be free from the cause of sufferings. So now we just focus on these two positive thoughts. now we focus or reflect or meditate on wishing and engaging bodhicitta, which means, in short, for the sake of all the sentient beings, you wish to attain Buddhahood. You wish to attain Buddhahood, and for that purpose, you are engaging in Dharma practice. also now.
Is it okay to ask a question regarding the meditation or later?
It's okay now.
It's okay now? I find it sometimes difficult to understand. There are two problems with the vision happiness for me, for all sentient beings. So if, for example, I'm not thinking about human beings, I'm thinking dogs and cats, I still can imagine it because I can feel their consciousness. And I can say, oh, they walk around stupas, next life, they will be humans. But when I think about insects, cockroaches, their existence is so low, so I can be wishing them to be happier, maybe live longer, maybe that I don't step on them, but really happiness won't be there. So I don't really know. Then I stuck. Like I really want to wish them happiness, and I really want, but the ultimate happiness that you talk about, or Buddhism talks about, is how should I address this? This is one question. Address
how to place insects and cockroaches.
To have faith in what I wish, so I can feel love. Like I have a cockroach in my house, I don't kill him. Yes, it's okay, but it doesn't mean that I really feel connect to the feeling that I still like him. It's nothing to do with liking or not liking. It's about how much is my wish has some power on insects. Okay, on my dog, on the neighbor's dog, yes. But
so you need you have more connection.
What does it mean? Okay, the question is, what does it mean to wish happiness for ants? What does it mean?
Actually, whether the ants or cockroaches or any other type of beings, doesn't mean that they will remain forever like this. We all change. Sometimes we are born as an animal. Animals can be born as a human being. So one type of animal will not remain forever like this. They will change, and they take life after life. At that time, they will also change their physical body, their physical aspect. So it doesn't mean that we are just focusing on this present life body. We are just thinking on sentient beings. So it is not only animal that we need to develop compassion, or it's not only the human beings that we need to develop compassion. Human beings, animals, there are type of beings. There are different types of beings, but they will not remain forever as present body. So body will change. The mind will continue. The mind will continue to the next life. This present body will change. This present body will be disposed in one way or another, through cremation or through burying or through in other ways. But you can't dispose the way you dispose your body. You can't dispose the mind as you dispose your body. So the mind is something that we cannot dispose. The mind will continue to the next life. So just focus on sentient beings. You don't need to focus whether it's human or animal or any other beings.
Regarding this also, during the time of the Buddha, there were many arhats. So there were many examples of people that achieved liberation and peace. And now that when I wish for all sentient beings to get enlightened, and so many Buddhas and so many people and so many Buddhists were wishing it. So, but we don't really see it. So I'm kind of discouraged sometimes.
Discouraged by?
By my unsuccessful wishes. No, I'm talking about, there were times like during the Shoka time that really those wishes were manifesting themselves in history, but well, I think I was understood. I don't have to say more.
These wishes are important, but it doesn't mean that we can fulfill our wishes in a short time.
It's again expanding it to infinite time.
And it takes time. It takes time to liberate the sentient beings. It takes time for the sentient beings to liberate, because we have been associating with the defilements from beginning of time. So it's not that easy to overcome defilements in a short period of time. For example, those who are alcoholic, they can't stop drinking alcohol in one day. They have to stop slowly or step by step. They cannot stop after drinking alcohol for many years. They can't stop in just one day. Just like this, they cannot do. And they also need to stop step by step. They also need the time to stop. So similarly, although we don't drink alcohol, but we have this bad habit or negative thought that has been associating with us for a long time. So we just can't separate from this negative thought in a short time. It takes time. It needs time to remove these thoughts. So now I will give the main teaching on departing from the four attachments. And in this book, there are two commentaries. These both commentaries are written by two of the five founding masters of the Sakya tradition. Actually, before I said, the main one is Sachen Kunga Nyingbo. Sachen Kunga Nyingbo is the one who received this pattern from the four attachments directly from Arya Manjushri. Then, in this booklet, there are two commentaries, one by Jizun Thapa Gyaltan, who is the third son of Sachen Kunga Nyingbo. And then there's a short commentary by Sakya Pendita, which is on page 12. This is a short commentary, and he is the nephew of Jizun Thapa Gyaltan, Jizun Thapa Gyaltan's younger brother's son. So, actually, Jizun Thapa Gyaltan came to this hall earlier than Sakya Pendita, but today, I think first I will give the teaching on Sakya Pendita's instruction on departing from the four attachments, which is on page 12 and 13. Then I think in the afternoon I will start to give departing from the four attachments, the commentary on departing from the four attachments by Jizun Thapa Gyaltan. So first, page 12 and 13. Page 12 and 13, the translation in Hebrew is on page 14, 15?
Yes.
Okay. I prostrate at the feet of the Noble Lama. Sakya Pendita's Noble Lama is like Jizun Thapa Gyaltan and other lamas. And in this teaching it says, having obtained a body with all the freedom and advantages, which means the precious body that has 18 characters. All the freedom means 8 leisure, free from 8 states that are known as 8 leisures. So 8 leisures or 8 freedoms are actually out of these 8, there are 4 non-human states and 4 human states. So need to be free from all these 8 states. First, the 4 non-human states means free from being born as a heron, as a hungry ghost, as an animal, and also long-life God. Free from these 4 non-human states. And also to be free from 4 human states, which are known as person who holds the wrong view, and person who are born at the time when Buddha has not appeared in this world, and barbarians, and 4th one is dumb. Here, dumb, normally dumb has 2 meanings, verbally dumb and mentally dumb, but here mainly means, or it refers to the mentally dumb. So freedom from the 8 states, 4 non-human states and 4 human states. So to be free from all these 8 states, it's called all the freedoms. Because these 8 states have no time, or they don't have the opportunity, or they don't have the fortune to practice Dharma. Like 3 lower beings, they're experiencing lots of suffering, so they don't have much time. They don't have time. Hell beings, they are experiencing inconceivable suffering, so they don't have time to think on practicing Dharma. They don't have the opportunity. And hungry ghosts, they are suffered by hunger and thirst, and they don't have the time to practice. They just look for food and drink all the time with great difficulties. And then animals, normally we say they are not clever, they are not smart. Although some say some animals are very clever, very smart, but no matter how smart they are not smart as human beings. They cannot write, they cannot read, they cannot compose a text, they cannot write a book, and they cannot study for years and years on many different subjects. So they are not so smart as human beings. Although some say some animals like dolphins are very smart, but they are not so smart as human beings. So generally speaking, the animals are not smart. They are quite ignorant. So because of this, they don't have the chance or the opportunity to practice Dharma. And then long-life gods, they live very happily. They live with mundane happiness. They enjoy the 5 sense objects that are there in the God's realm. When you are enjoying so much on mundane things, then you tend to forget to practice Dharma. Even in our life, when we are happy, when we are experiencing happiness, at that time, we tend to forget to take refuge. We tend to forget to practice Dharma. We remember Dharma more when we suffer. When we suffer, when we feel pain, when we face problems, then we remember to practice Dharma more. We remember Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha more. So a long life goes, they enjoy the five sense objects of the mundane happiness too much, so that they don't have a thought to practice Dharma. So they don't have chance. So the four non-human states, the three lower beings, and then the long life goes, they don't have the thought, they don't have the opportunity to practice, they don't have the fortune to practice. And then advantages means, normally we say 10 endowments. 5 endowments that we need to possess to our own self, within ourselves, and another 5 endowments that we need to possess by depending on others. So the first 5 means, first, we need to be born as a human being. This is the first character. Second, we need to be born in a centrally located place. A centrally located place has 2 meanings. Dharma-wise, centrally located place, and geographically centrally located place. Geographically speaking, centrally located place means Bodhigaya, where all the Buddhas attain Buddhahood for the eyes of common people. Then Dharma-wise centrally located place means a place where there are 4 types of followers of the Buddha. 4 types of followers means monks and nuns followers of the Buddha, and then male and female lay followers of the Buddha. So centrally located place means where there are 4 types of followers of the Buddha. It's called the centrally located place, Dharma-wise, centrally located place. So out of these 2, here centrally located place means Dharma-wise centrally located place. Then third character is to have all the faculties intact, means not being born as a handicap, to have all the organs or faculties intact. And fourth one is someone who has not done heinous crimes, like killing one's own father, mother, or arahat, etc. Someone who has not done very serious negative actions. Someone who has not done these kind of serious negative actions. Then the fifth character is someone who has sincere belief, sincere faith in the Buddha Dharma, especially in the Vinaya teaching. So these are 5 endowments that we need to possess through ourselves or within ourselves. And then the next 5, the first one is need to be born at a time when Buddha has appeared in this world. And second character is that not only Buddha is born in this world, but Buddha has given precious and profound teachings. As I said before, if Buddha don't see worthy disciples or worthy followers, then Buddha will not teach. Although Buddha knows all the Dharma, but Buddha will not teach if there's no worthy disciples or followers. So second character is for Buddha to teach Dharma, at the time when Buddha teach the Dharma. And third one, the Buddha Dharma is still alive. And the fourth one is still there are followers of the Buddha. And fifth one, still there are sponsors for those practitioners to support, etc. So these 5 endowments possessed to ourselves and 5 possessed to others. These 10 endowments, I think it's called advantage in this text. So this precious human life is very difficult to obtain. And also it's difficult for us to encounter the precious teachings of the Buddha, or have the fortune or to have the merit to receive the sacred and secret teachings and to able to practice these teachings. And it says genuinely arouse the right attitude. It is important to have the right attitude in order to practice Dharma. Actually, in short, Buddha Dharma is a method to make you a perfect person, to make you a perfect being who has no obstacles, who has no sufferings, no faults, no obscurations, and the one who possesses all the ultimate qualities, such as ultimate knowledge, ultimate wisdom, ultimate compassion, ultimate loving kindness, ultimate happiness, etc., or ultimate power to lead the sentient beings from suffering and samsara and place them on the state of liberation, and finally to place them on the state of ultimate Buddhahood. So when we practice Dharma, it is important to have a right attitude. And then it says, now we need to put the Dharma into practice without any mistake. It is important to practice the Dharma, but just by practicing Dharma, it doesn't mean that one is a great practitioner. Although our practice is based on Buddha Dharma, based on authentic teaching, but just by having the right Dharma to practice doesn't mean that our practice is perfect. Our practice is real Dharma practice. Because to have a right practice or perfect practice, not only is it important to have right Dharma to practice, but also it is important to have the right way to practice or right intention to practice. If we practice the right Dharma with the wrong intention, then our practice will not become a real practice of Dharma. So it is important to have right Dharma teaching to practice, and also it is equally important to have the right intention or the highest motivation to practice Dharma. As I said before, practicing Dharma with wrong intention is not right. For example, when we say generosity, the practice of generosity is very important. We need to practice generosity. We need to give others. But it doesn't mean all types of generosity is good. If we give weapons to others, or if we give alcohols to others, or if we give drugs to others, then it is not right. Although you are giving, you are practicing the generosity, but you are giving wrong object. You are giving an object that is not useful. You are giving an object that is harmful to themselves and to others. So all kinds of generosity are not virtues. So it means all kinds of givings are not virtue. If you give good objects, then it becomes good practice. If you give wrong object, then it becomes harmful. It becomes not a real practice of generosity. So similarly, even though you are practicing on real Dharma, you are practicing on authentic Dharma, but at the same time, if your intention is not right, if your motivation is not right, then your practice will not become a good practitioner. So that's why Sakya-Pandita Thungka Gyalpan said, now we need to put the Dharma into practice without any mistake. So without any mistake means need to practice Dharma with the right intention, with the highest motivation, without wrong motivation, or without inferior motivation, or without mediocre motivation or intention. For example, if you study the Dharma or practice Dharma just to gain fame or just for one's own livelihood, then it is not right. And also sometimes people might think that we need to practice Dharma or study Dharma so that I can teach to hundreds of beings. I can help, I can spread the Buddha's message, or I can pass the Buddha's message to hundreds of people. So I want to become a teacher. So that's why I'm learning Buddha Dharma. I'm studying Buddha Dharma in order to teach hundreds of people. Actually, it is not harmful, but it is not enough. This intention is not enough, because our intention is not just to help hundreds of people. Our intention or our motivation is to help infinite people or limitless sentient beings, not just hundreds of people. If you just think, I want to study Dharma just to help hundreds of people, then it becomes a biased thought. You just want to help limited beings or few beings. Compared to countless beings, hundreds of people is also a few beings. So wish to help or wish to pass the Buddha's teaching to hundreds of people is not harmful, but it's not enough. It's not the right way of thinking. It's not the right way of developing the highest motivation. So therefore, it is important to practice Dharma without any mistake, without wrong thoughts, or without inferior thoughts, or without mediocre thoughts. We should practice with the highest thought, with the highest motivation, or with the highest intention. And Sakya-Pandita said, for this we must take to heart and practice departing from the four attachments. What exactly does this imply? Parting from the four attachments means 4 lines of teaching. First one is not being attached to the present life. Second, not being attached to the three realms of samsara. Third, not being attached to your own self-interest. And fourth, and not clinging to some true reality in things and their characteristics. So we should not have attachment to all these four. If we have attachment to this life, then we don't have great goals to achieve. We don't wish to gain liberation. If you don't wish to gain liberation, then there's no need to mention that we don't have to wish to attain Buddhahood. So, to gain or attain attainment or enlightenment state, first we need to gain liberation. Without gaining liberation, we cannot gain attainment or we cannot attain Buddhahood. For example, if there are 10 steps, without going on the first and second, third step, we cannot go on 9, 10 steps. We need to go step by step, one after another. We can't just jump and walk on 8, 9 steps without walking on first few steps. We can't do that. So likewise, without gaining liberation, we can't attain enlightenment state. So if we just have attachment to this life, then it means we don't have great goals. Our mind is very narrow-minded. Our mind is not open-minded. And to have attachment to this life is not worthwhile. Actually, as I said before, we have been associating with the defilements from beginning of time. So we do have very strong attachment. We do have strong passion towards this life. So it is not that easy to overcome attachment to this life. But through logical reasons, it is very important and it is very meaningful to be free from the attachment to this life. So therefore, we must use logical reasons. We must use our mind to think on this and try to familiarize with this, try to get used to this, and then finally we can be able to overcome this attachment. We can be able to overcome the attachment to this life. So when Sakyapanita gives explanation on these four, it says to explain this further. First, Sakyapanita explained on the first line, which means if you have attachment to this life, you are not a spiritual person. So first, he gave explanation on the first line. It says, it is fertile to be attached to this life, since it is like a bubble on water, and the time of our death uncertain. So this explains about the first line. It means it is not worthwhile to have attachment, to have a strong attachment to this life, because this life is not permanent. This life is very impermanent. So it says this, or it is like a bubble on water. The bubble on water will not remain even for a few minutes. It will only remain for a few seconds. Then it will disappear into the water. So, since the bubble on the water will not remain for a long period of time, because of this, no one will have a very strong attachment on this particular bubble on water. No one will have attachment for long period of time or strong attachment on the bubble. Because we all know this bubble will not remain for a long time. We know this bubble is very impermanent. It will disappear very soon. It will dissolve very soon. So no one will have very strong attachment to this bubble. Similarly, our life is also like a bubble on the water. Our life is impermanent. Our life is not permanent. Although we want to do lots of things, we want to achieve lots of things in this life, but in the reality, this life is very fragile. We can die at any time. People can die at any time, anywhere. There's no fixed time for us to die. We don't have a certain lifespan, or we can't say we will live until this age. As we all know, people die at any time, anywhere. There are babies, they die even before they were born. There are many babies, they die in mother's womb before they were born. And also there are many babies who are born, but they don't remain for a long time. So people die at many different ages. So it means our lifespan is not certain, can die at any time and anywhere. And in our teaching, it says, we don't know whether tomorrow or next life, which will come first. We don't know. So it means for some people, before tomorrow starts, they already die. So we never know which will come first, tomorrow or the next life. So this life is very impermanent. So therefore, there's no point. It is not worthwhile to have attachment to this life. So it's easy to understand this meaning, but it is not that easy to practice this, because we have strong propensity to have attachment to this life. So we need to put extra effort, more than 100% effort, to overcome this attachment. Without putting effort, we won't be able to get free from this attachment. And then the second line says, not being attached to the three realms of samsara. Then Sajipinda explained on this by saying, these three realms of samsara are like a poisonous fruit, delicious at first, but ultimately harmful. Anyone who is attached to them must be deluded. So it means having attachment to the samsara is like tasting a delicious poisonous fruit. If you take a very tasty poisonous fruit, in the beginning, you feel very happy to taste because it is very tasty. But after tasting this poisonous fruit, it will create pain, physical pain, and mental anxiety. Not only that, it can even take our own dear life. Because poisonous fruit, tasting poisonous fruit means temporarily when you eat, at that time you feel happy because it's tasty, you feel joy. But in the long run, it will create sufferings and pains, anxiety, and even it can take our own dear life. So similarly, because of our own attachment, because of our strong negative thoughts, sometimes or many times we like this place or we like that country or this place and we like that food or we like that clothes. We have many attachments on many different objects which are all part of the samsara. So having attachment to this samsara in the beginning, when we have attachment, we can experience the mundane happiness or the worldly happiness. But due to this attachment towards the samsara or this world, in the long run, it will create us more suffering, more problems. In this life alone, there are many problems that are created in this life because we have the attachment. Because we have the attachment, we create problems. We are caught up in this kind of suffering, in this kind of problems. So many of the problems are made or caused by attachment. We sometimes deceive others. We sometimes tell lies to others. We sometimes hate others in order to experience mundane happiness for ourselves. Because we love this place. For the place, people argue. There are many individual land dispute, not only nation to nation dispute, but also family to family dispute. Even their brothers or sisters or their siblings, they fight against each other for their parents' property, etc. Because they have attachment to this place, they have attachment to the samsara. Because of that attachment, it caused the arguments. It caused to hate each other, even though they are your own brothers or sisters. Because of this strong attachment, which are not right, it will cause more problems in the long run. If we argue for the land or for any other reason, then it means in the long run, it will lead us to take rebirth in the lower realm, like hell realm and other realms, where we need to experience inconceivable sufferings, unimaginable sufferings. Human suffering cannot compare the sufferings of the lower realms. Human suffering cannot compare the inconceivable sufferings of the hell realms. So, temporarily, it can give us joy, but in the long term, it will give us the inconceivable suffering. So, just like the example, having attachment to the samsara, like land or other belongings or to any other objects, in the long run, it will cause more problems, more suffering. So it does not mean that we should not use any objects of the samsara. Although we need to place to sleep, we need to clothes to wear, we need food to eat. We should use these. We should not have attachment. That doesn't mean we should not use all these things. As a human being, we need to depend on these. Without these, we cannot survive. Without our life, there's no chance to practice this Buddha Dharma. So we need to use this like house and food and clothes and other properties we need to use, but we should use these without strong attachment, We should use it with the right intention, with the right motivation. That is important to know. If you use this with the wrong purpose, with the wrong intention, then it creates problem. If you use these worldly things for good purpose, with the right intention, then there's no harm. It can benefit. So here it means we should not have strong attachment towards these samsara. Then the third one says, not being attached to your own self-interest. And then Sajjapanda gave commentary on this teaching by saying, attachment to your own self-interest is like nurturing the child of an enemy. It may bring joy at first, but in the end, only leads to ruin. Just so, attachment to your own welfare brings happiness in the short term, but eventually leads you to the lower realms. So it means having attachment to yourself or having attachment to your own self-interest is not right. It's like nurturing the child of an enemy. When you nurture a child of an enemy, in the beginning or when this child is young, at that time, this child will like you because you are nurturing this child. But when this child grows older, then this child will know that you are the enemy of this child's father or this child's parents. By knowing this, then this child will not tolerate. This child will take revenge on ourselves. Although we have nurtured this child, but this child will take revenge on us. So this also indicates that nurturing enemy's child is not right, because in the temporarily this child will like you, but in the long run this child will hate you. So similarly, if we have self-interest, then in the short term, we can feel joy, but in the long run, it will lead us to more suffering and more miserable. So it is very important that we should not have self-interest. Actually, we all have the self-interest. All the sentient beings do have this self-interest, but what is the result of this self-interest? From the beginning of this time until now, we have shown interest on ourselves continuously for many lifetimes or life after life. But what is the result? We are still in the samsara. We are still in the suffering, midst of suffering. So it means self-interest, having attachment to the self-interest, will not help you to gain joy or to attain happiness. If the self-interest can help oneself, then we all should have real happiness because we all have this self-interest. But the reality is that this self-interest is not helping ourselves. Actually, it is destroying our happiness. It is the enemy of our happiness. Because of this self-interest, we do many bad things. Because of this self-interest, we have attachment, we have anger, we have jealousy, we have pride, we have many other negative qualities, all because we have this self-interest or selfish thought. So therefore, it is very important to know why it is harmful, why self-interest or selfish thought can create and cause lots of sufferings or infinite problems. So therefore, it is important to dig out the cause of suffering. Without eliminating the cause of suffering, we cannot just remove the actual suffering directly. So it is important to know the cause of the suffering. And the cause of the suffering, the real cause of the suffering is selfish thought. So we must put every effort to remove this selfish thought. In the long run, it will definitely cause more and more sufferings. And to remove this selfish thought, we need to focus, we need to emphasize more on others. We need to think more on others. We need to take care of others' welfare and well-being more than one's own welfare and well-being. How that can happen? The answer is through the practice we can do this. When we say others, it means infinite. The infinite beings, they do have qualities and negatives. So it is not important for us to emphasize or focus on others' fault. The more you focus on others' fault, the more you dislike others, the more you hate others. So we should not focus on others' fault, but instead we should focus on others' quality. Every sentient beings do have positive side and negative side. There's not a single person who is always doing good things without doing any bad things. And sometimes even the very bad person in this world, they will not do bad things every day, 24 hours. Sometimes they can also do some good things. They can also do some good actions. So we can't say that if the person is good, then he's always doing good things all the time. We can't say. Then also, if there's one bad person, then we also can't say he's doing bad things all the time, 24 hours. We can't say. So it means every person has positive side and negative side. Good person has more positive side than their negative side. Bad person has more negative side than their positive side. But every being do have a positive and negative. They do have both sides. There's not a single person in this world, there's not a single ordinary person in this world who only has one side. So we should focus on the good side and not focus on the bad side. And also, as a human being, within the humans, or human to human, there are many similarities and also many dissimilarities. The more you focus on dissimilarities, it will make you more distant from the others. Dissimilarities such as different culture, different language, different tradition, different nation, different wish, different taste, etc. So there are many different or many dissimilarities, but we should not focus on these dissimilarities. Instead, we should focus on the similarities. All humans have one face, two hands, etc. We all look alike. We all have same general feature. From this point of view, we all are same. Not only that, we all wish to experience happiness. We all wish to get rid of suffering. This also is one of the similarities within the human beings. So sometimes we can think that all humans are from one big human family. For example, when we say a cat family means the tigers, the leopards, the cat, all this from cat family. So like this, we can also say all humans are from one human family. So think on these similarities. The more you think on these similarities, it will make you more stronger connection within the human beings. And here we need to connect with the human beings and also to other sentient beings. So in short, we should not have interest in this self. Instead, we should focus on others. I think with this, first we will have a short break, lunch break, and then I will continue on Sakipanida's Bottom from 4 attachment, and then after that, I will start giving teaching on the Hawaii Delton's Bottom from 4 attachment commentary.